All right, so now we are through with what I feel is definitely the most boring part of the coloring process is the flattening process. Now, depending on how your workflow is, if you decide to set up your correct base colors while you're flatting, which some of you may have, then you're already ready for this next step. But if you're like me and you don't like making color decisions while you're flatting, because I'm just trying to get through the flatting process, then we need to set up our actual base colors. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do, at least in my case, is to start this with a neutral tone sort of everywhere. Now, I'll explain a little bit about this because I'm afraid some people aren't going to quite follow why I do this. So, as a quick example, if I get my page from my flatter, what I used to do when I first started, actually, what I would get my selection tool, and I was like, okay, I want to grab her skin tone. I'm going to click on the automatic selection and then go up to either hue saturation and change that color, or maybe I go grab another color from over here somewhere and fill that color in. There's some ways to do that just by changing the colors that are here. I'm not actually a big fan of that myself because to me, contrast and color choices is all about what's already on the page. And there are no color choices that should ever be made in a vacuum, And so to me, this isn't starting from a neutral position. There's a lot of colors on the board. There's a lot of distracting colors that I'm not going to be using. And so I don't really want to look at my flats while I'm setting up my base colors. So this is how I do it. I'm going to go to my layers. We're going to make a new layer. I'm going to call this base, or base colors maybe. And so the base colors are going to be the color that is on the bottom of our stack of rendering, basically. And it's the first colors we're actually going to see that they're actually going to come through in the final product, because the way that I work, the flats never even show up on the page. So what I'm going to do in this case, I want to fill all the panels with one neutral color. So I'm just going to hold down 2 fingers on the panels layer right here, and that selects the contents of just the panels. And I'm going to pick, personally, what I like to do is get about halfway down, and I want a little bit of a color in here. I don't want to go all the way to gray, because when you're gray, you can't add or remove saturation to gray. Okay, it's just going to stay, in most apps, it's just going to stay gray. So I want to add a little bit of color here, and I usually choose a blue or an orange. It doesn't really matter what color you start with. It's going to appear to be pretty neutral. So once I've got that color selected, the fastest thing to do is to click on the layer and then click Fill Layer. And that's going to fill all of the panels with a neutral color that gives us a good starting point. So I'm going to zoom up here to this third panel. Since it's one of the simpler ones, we'll start there. Now in this case, I want to lighten the background. Okay, the panel, the way this looks in the final product, the background is a little bit lighter than all the characters in the foreground. So the background being lighter and the characters being darker is a simple way to break up your planes here. When I say planes, I'm talking about not airplanes, but planes as in foreground, background, that kind of thing. Those are called planes. So what we really have here are just 2 planes. We've got a foreground character and the background, the room behind her. Now I've already set this up earlier to have the background selected on this layer. Okay, so all I have to do is 2-finger hold on that layer, and it's going to select the contents of both of these layers in this case. Now, I could go ahead and set the background colors for both of these because they are going to be similar. Or if I wanted to just work on the third panel, I could choose, say, the rectangle selection, go to remove, and then remove that bottom panel from the selection if I wanted to. But I'm actually going to just leave it because honestly, I'm going to be using similar colors in both of these backgrounds. So in this case, I'm just going to hold down 2 fingers to grab the background. Now, there are so many ways to do this part. If you want to brush in your background with a brush, if you want to change it with, let's say, the hue saturation adjustment, like there's a lot of different ways you can do this. I'll show you both, I guess, real quick. So I'm going to start with just a big soft brush. If you go into airbrushing is the first one on the list is the the soft airbrush. So let's say I want to make this color lighter, and I could brush, whoops, lost my selection. I'm going to hold down the S to bring that selection back, and then go to my brush, and we can paint that in. And that's going to fill all the background with that color. You could also just go to your layer stack, click on the layer and fill with that new color. That's an option. Or if you're not sure exactly what color you want, which I do this often, is I will open up the adjustments, which is the little sparkly magic wand looking thing up at the top left, which is ironic because there is no magic wand. But if I go to hue, saturation, brightness, I can brighten it this way. So that's 3 different ways you could come in here and shift that color around if you want. We could saturate it a little bit. We could gray it out a little bit. Whatever you want to do to adjust that. But I know I want it to be lighter than the other character. So there we go. That's step 1. But the other reason that I do this is it also forces you very early on to think about your planes and to think about those breakdowns of foreground, middle ground, background, what's a focus, what's the background. All these things are questions you're going to have to answer at some point anyway. And so to me, starting very early, getting to at least the big shapes, again, foreground, middle ground, background, it'll do you a whole lot of good at this stage to keep that in mind. So we've got more colors to separate in this background. So what I'm going to do is go to my flats layer, click on that, and then make sure that you click reference. And that's going to put that little reference line there right below the flats name. Now we can go up to my base colors. And now when I choose my selection tools, it's going to choose from the reference layer, which are my flats, which is just what I want. So I'm going to click here and here. And I don't think anything else is going to be that color, but I can go up to hue saturation. I can adjust that a little bit, make it a little bit brighter. And I'm going to do this for all the little sections that need to be changed. So I'm going to click all those little magnets there. Again, go to hue saturation. Maybe we'll darken. Make sure I'm on the base colors, by the way. Make sure you're on the base colors. Now we're going to try to darken this a little bit. Maybe saturate them a little bit. Maybe shift the color around. And do the same thing all throughout this piece. So we've got this light switch. Maybe we warm it up a little bit. Maybe desaturate it some. All of these, all I'm really thinking about right now is I know I want this background to overall feel light, okay? So when I zoom way out on this, even with those other colors that I'm choosing, they're close to my background color. They really kind of blend together at this stage. So anyway, what else do we have here? We've got these things. Little doorways, I guess is what that is. Again, hue saturation. We can shift that around a little bit. Now it looks like we're looking through a doorway to like another door back there. So we could actually come in and grab all of this background here. Whoops. If you ever mess up, just 2-finger undo. I think I have everything in the doorway selected. So again, I can go back to hue saturation. Maybe we darken that some. Add a little color to it. Getting there, getting there. So let's move on to the character here. I'm going to grab the selection tool again, grab her hair, and we'll fill this with her rough hair color, which is, in this case, it's kind of a brown. Go ahead and grab the skin tones. Choose a color. Now, if you drop a color in here and it's not what you expect, like in this case, I dropped this in, I'm like, it's pretty close, but it's a little dark, it's a little light, whatever. Just remember, you can always go back to your adjustments and click on like hue saturation or on color balance or whatever and shift that color around, even after you've put it on the page. So that's what I'm doing over and over here. It's like I'm grabbing the lips, switching to the adjustment, and changing that, or either going to my color and just drop it in, however you want to do it. Now, something else you can do here, now that I think about it, is I don't think you necessarily have to have a selection to use the color drop feature if you're using a reference layer. So like in this case, I'm on the base colors, but my flats is set as reference. So if I grab a color and drag it onto her jacket, it's going to fill just because the reference layer is already established those edges. So you don't actually have to make a selection in order to do that. So for the rest of this, like for her jacket there, I can just grab a different color, pull it down to here, and you can see it's filling that without actually having to have a selection of any kind. And again, you put a color down you don't like, you can always drop another color in, or choose a selection and then change the hue saturation that way. And I would do the same thing for all these other panels. Now, obviously, I'm choosing this third one here because it's a relatively simple panel. For the sake of time, I'm not really going to have time to go through the entire page like this. But just as a quick example, if you want to see how I would do this on a like a background landscape element like this, then what I would do is go to my colors, choose whatever colors that I want. And again, because I've got that flat still set as a reference, I can just drop those colors in here. So this is where the flatting first, getting it out of the way, actually kind of frees you up to only make color choices at this point if you want. Now, obviously, you don't have to do that, but this is how I would do it. The other thing to remember is at any time, if you want to use some of those other layers we set up, like the big flats layer, to say maybe select that building, just remember to turn off the reference on the flats. Now we can go up to our selection tool and select the entirety of that building, without having to work very much. Now, something else to keep in mind with these selections and the fill tool is right now, if I select from this big flats layer and I just touch that building, one thing you might notice is that on some of these edges, you can see how it looks a little rough around the edges here. There's a feature that is called threshold. And if you notice that if it's all the way down to 0, sometimes it will be a little too sensitive and you'll get these kind of weird after effects like that. So what you can do when you use the selection is to click and then drag to the right. And you can see that threshold number up at the top adjusting. That will fill that out all the way to the edge. And if you keep dragging, it'll even jump outside of your selection, which you don't really want. So you can kind of find a threshold that works for you. And for me, it's usually around 25% or so, I think. But it depends on what brush you're using and all that kind of stuff. But I can go up to my base colors now, back to, say, hue saturation, and change that building to be whatever color I want it to be. Now, once you've got that done, you can go back to your flats, make sure it's set as reference, and then continue on by making selections and then filling those in or using a brush. And again, you're like, wow, that seems like this will take a while. Absolutely. It will take hours. Usually for a professional flatter to set up all the base colors on a page, it can easily take several hours. And then the coloring process itself can often take several hours. So this isn't something that can usually come together very quickly. So keep that in mind. If you feel slow, it's because it's a slow process.